Hey, book besties. Welcome to More Than a Book Club podcast. I'm your host, Leyna.
And I'm your other host, LJ. And today is one of our favorite episodes of the month, which is what, Leyna?
It's our Literary Lately. This is a fun episode where we talk about all things books, all the books that we have read, that we're currently reading, literary events we've been to. And this is an extra special episode because this is the quarter end. So this will also have books that are coming out next quarter that we're all excited about. And there's a lot of really good ones coming out that I had to pick a few to highlight because I came up with a whole bunch of books. How many books have you read since we last did Literary Lately?
I did 5 books. Notice I didn't say only 5, but I did 5.
Good job.
So yay, and I'm happy with that. And what's funny is that 2 of them we have full episodes about. So, that's part of it, which we'll get to that when we get to that. And but yeah, if you want to know more about perhaps why that's my number, you're going to have to join Patreon and check out our next bonus episode just to give you're going to want to get on there. Leyna and I have lots of fun stuff to talk about on that episode.
Yes,
as
we
well.
do.
Anyway, so what about you?
I've read 11, so
Okay.
I felt like that was pretty good. It's about average what I've been reading. So yeah, I was happy with that. And I read some good books, and then I read some bummers.
That's unfortunate.
That's what happens, right? Not every book is for every person, and there are some new ones that I was trying to read because our local library foundation had some authors that are coming in to give talks, and so I was excited to read those.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you saw, but Shari LaPena.
Yeah. She's
hers
coming,
was
right?
canceled.
Oh, it was canceled?
They just canceled it this morning. So they said,
darn.
due to unforeseen circumstances. So
hopefully everything's
we'll talk
okay.
about those. Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. How about I kick it off because we'll kind of do it 2 books to your one and then go from there.
That sounds great.
Let's see. So I did read 2 Shari LaPena books.
Ooh.
I have to say, I'm not necessarily a fan. I was interested to go to her talk because she's coming and I like to go hear authors talk.
Yeah.
But I read 2 books and I was just like, this is not my favorite.
Okay. I'm looking here. I guess I've read 2 of them before and both only got 4 stars. So
yeah. And I read The Stranger in the House. And I swear I read another one. Where is it? I did. An Unwanted Guest. So I read both of those. So I guess I've read 12 books. But neither of them really struck me as good. The Stranger in the House, I gave 3 stars to. And An Unwanted Guest, I gave 2.5. Like, just not good. And An Unwanted Guest was, they're at kind of this hotel in the middle of nowhere. And all of a sudden, the power goes out, people start dying, everybody has a secret type thing. But the part that got me, it was very much, I don't know if you've ever seen Modern Family, the episode where they go to, it's like live theater, interactive live theater, and everybody has like a spotlight put on them. And they're very much monologuing. That's what this book felt like. It was, here's my secret, but I'm going to tell it in a way that I don't even know why they were telling their secrets. Why spill these secrets to people? It did not feel at all realistic. So I just was not a fan of that. A Stranger in the House was a little bit better. Like I said, I gave it 3 stars. The Stranger in the House was a lady kind of forgets what happened. She was in a car accident.
Okay.
And they discover a body near the car accident. And then they discover all kinds of things along the way. That it's a domestic thriller. It was okay. I don't know if I would read it again, if I would recommend it to people, but there are some twists and turns in it that you don't expect. But overall, not a favorite book. All right. How about you? Those were my
Okay,
two.
that's
Those were
fair.
two of my bummers.
Okay, so the first one, and I'm not even gonna have a lot to say because if you want to hear all about The Great Outdoors by Kayla Olson, you can listen to episode 77. And this is episode 79, I think,
79.
that we're on
Yeah.
right now. So
Hmm.
so go back 2 episodes and listen all about The Great Outdoors by Kayla Olson, who we love and we'll be talking about again in a little bit when we get to literary events. So I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's a good summer rom-com. It is Elle Woods and Alexis, whatever, Alexis Rose is like meets, I guess, that book Alone or whatever. Is that the one that Reese
Wild and
Witherspoon
Eat,
starred
Pray,
in the movie?
Love.
Wild. Yeah, those types
Yeah.
of stories where she like goes to prove that, you know, she's not as high maintenance as she's being told she is. And so anyway, very, very good. Highly recommend. But again, if you want to hear more, go to episode 77. And now back to you, Leyna.
That was one of my books too. So that
Okay,
that was a
good.
really good book. It was a 5-star read for me as
Mhm.
well. So um, I also read 2 books from Amanda Iyer Ward because she's coming to town. And so I wanted to hear her books because I think they were on my TBR, both of them. So her books
Okay.
that I had on there were Lovers and Liars and The Jet Setters. Both of
Mm,
them were kind of fun, good. Both of them were
fun,
pretty
good.
good. Fun,
Good
good.
or good
A lot
fun?
of it
Good
dealt
fun?
with good fun. Maybe that was where I was going with it. I don't know. Um, but there was a lot of family dysfunction, which I really
Yeah.
love family dysfunction books. And it's families that have grown apart. And maybe they're not estranged, but they don't really talk to each other as much. And like
Yeah.
the Lovers and Liars, it's sisters that have been estranged. Their mom was she's not a good mom. I won't say she was abusive, but just kind of uninterested in parenting. And so the oldest sister kind of took over. And
Okay.
then as they got older, they kind of moved apart from each other. And one of the sisters meets a guy, and then relatively quickly, they decide to get married. And he comes from money, apparently, and they go to get married at his castle. And because he has a castle, of course. So they go to the
Yep.
castle to get married. She invites her sisters and even her mom. Um, her sisters have their own issues that they're all keeping secrets. I felt like these secrets, unlike Shari LaPena's, were better revealed, I guess. So I
Okay.
thought it was a pretty fun book, and I'm excited to see her. Her other book was The Jet Setters. And again, family dysfunction, a mom who's older, I think she's supposed to be in her 70s, is
Okay.
trying to get her family back together. She has entered a contest to win a cruise. It's like a 9-day cruise over the Mediterranean. And she finds out she wins this cruise and gets all of her family to join her. And she's hoping to reconnect with all of her kids. She has 3 kids, hoping that
Yeah.
they will become closer. And they all have their own issues, their own secrets. Again, they're revealing these secrets. One, her son, is gay and is ready to get married, but he hasn't told his family that he's gay. So there's that
Oh,
going
goodness.
on. One sister is an actress, but she has not landed any roles in a really long time. And she's been lying about that to her family because she wants them to be proud of her. And the other sister is the perfect sister kind of thing. Um, so she has her own issues. It's fun to see them all come together, deal with things, and just find out what's going on. So that was a fun read. And you find out all kinds of things. And the mom has an issue where she had a best friend who died recently. And she doesn't want to admit that she's feeling lonely or scared of death or any of this. So she's kind of pushing those
That's
feelings
hard.
down. And it kind of talks about families keeping secrets from each other and not expressing their feelings, and all of that comes to a head. So it was a fun read, and I'm excited to go see her because she has a new book coming out. All right, let's talk about one of yours.
Okay, this might be one of yours too. Yesteryear
Yes, it
by
is.
Caro Claire Burke, which I know I gave 4 stars, and I think you wanted to give 2.5 or something like that, maybe 2.
I think it was I gave 3, I think.
Yeah. Which we again go to last episode 78 is all about it. So I don't want to take up our time, but I've gone back and forth since our discussion and since our friend Emily started it and was like, I can't read this. I've gone back and forth. I'm like, should I give it 3? But I think because I have such a deep interest and have studied kind of social media influencing for fun over the years, that I think that I have an appreciation at a different level than most people would. Like, and I think I still, for me, the fact that I think it would make such a good book club discussion. Like we had a great
Yes.
discussion over it because of, so I'm going to keep the 4 because I went back and forth. I'm like, you can change your rating if you so choose. And I've decided to stick with it, but it's definitely not one that I would just recommend like, oh my gosh, you have to read this book. And I definitely would not read it again. So I
That's
don't know.
kind of how I
It is
feel
what it
about it.
is.
I
Yeah.
I thought at a certain point it was going to be good, and then I was just like, this lady is just obnoxious, and I don't know if I can, yeah, really
But I
recommend
thought I
this.
thought of something I really like something you said though. Like you could almost read the first few chapters,
Mhm.
then go to like the last part and then get like
Skip all the middle.
really all you need. Skip all the middle and get enough from it. But
Mhm.
anyway. But if you do that, get it from the library so you don't spend money.
Yes, I
Just
would
saying.
agree with that sentiment. And I know
Yeah,
our friend Emily had like a really long wait because this is a popular book. But I think if you go
it
look at the
is.
Goodreads, it's gotten a Goodreads of like 3. People are
Yeah.
not it. She said she was interested in reading it because it was so controversial that people either love it or
Yeah.
hate it. But I don't know. I just don't
Okay,
know.
it says 3.97 right now. So that's better than
Oh,
I thought.
I thought it was lower. I thought it was like 3.5. Maybe more people have read it and liked it.
Okay, so I'm looking at friends' ratings and reviews. One person gave it 2. One person didn't give it any stars and says processing. Someone gave it 3.5. Someone gave it 5. 1, 2, let me see, at least 2 gave it 5. Um, and someone gave it 4. 2 more gave it 4. 3, a couple more gave it 5. My cousin
So it
Ramsey
really
just read it and
is.
gave it 4. A lot of people, yeah, I see yours 3. But yeah, a lot of my friends gave it 4s and 5s, so
Hmm.
it's
So I
interesting.
guess all of y'all should read it or see how you
Yeah,
feel about it.
yeah. Because like, don't just trust us. Let me see
Who
here.
knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Anyway, that was
All right.
my second one. Back to you,
Since
Leyna.
since apparently I read 12 books and just hadn't written one down, I'm going to talk about 3 of them.
Perfect.
And the first one is Fortune Made of Sand by Ruta Sepetys.
Oh yeah.
She has written a lot of books. Some of them are more young adult, and they talk about different historical things. And this one was no different. It is a historical book. I think it's geared more towards adults, though, rather than.
What's the name of
Um,
it?
it's called Fortune Made of Sand.
Okay, because I have one of hers that I haven't read from that I got like maybe 5 years ago. It's not that one though, because that must be newer
This was
probably.
an arc, so I don't
Okay,
know
yeah.
exactly when this comes out. I enjoyed this book. It's set in 1920s Detroit. I felt like I learned a lot. Every time I read historical fiction, one of the ways that I decide if I like it is, am I learning something as I'm reading it?
Right.
And I felt like I learned stuff. It was set in Detroit in the midst of all of the car manufacturing, um, basically the car boom. And the main character's family made all of their money by creating windshields for automobiles. So that's their
Oh.
fortune made of sand, because they're taking the sand and turning it into glass. There is a lot of talk about what's expected of women during this time. There is talk about people living up to expectations. The main character wants to be artistic, but her father is like, no, you can't be an artist. She's kind of free-spirited, and he thinks she's being like a black sheep of the family, and he wants her to behave a certain way, get married like her older sister, and kind of, I don't know. He's very much, this is the way it should be, and has no room for anyone to make a difference. There are 4 kids in this story. 3 of them are
Okay.
from a first marriage, 1 is from the second, and the one that's from the second is the main character. And this also talks about, she gets a scholarship to go to an art, what do you call it, like a retreat, where she lives in this place and does all kinds of art. She wants to do fashion design, and this guy provides all of the different materials that she might need. The only weird thing about it is she's not allowed any visitors, and she has to lock herself in her room. And anytime she leaves the room, she has to lock the door for that. And there's also some people that they're there 1 minute and then they're gone. And so
Okay.
she's like, what happened to them? It's like a mystery. Where did they go? There's also a lot of interest, not interest, but the historical interest for me about women in the 1920s being sent to asylums, because
Yeah.
that's part of why her brother and sister support her going to this retreat, is because their father was talking about the possibility of sending the youngest sister to an asylum because
Ugh.
of her actions and all of this. So it was a very interesting read. I would recommend it. And she has
Yeah.
other books that are really good as well. So go read that one. Another book that I read that is kind of historical is Nancy Drew and the Hidden Staircase by Carolyn Keene.
I
And
love
I
it.
think I was talking to my friend Robin. I don't really remember reading any Nancy Drew books. And this kind of came to me after we read Bookwitch. And I was like, okay, I feel like I should read some Nancy Drew books. And this apparently is the second one. I thought I was starting with the first, but it was the second. It was good, and maybe if I would have read it when I was a young teen or tween, I would have enjoyed it more. But I think I gave it 3 stars. It was all right. I did get, oh my gosh, LJ has just pulled like all of the Nancy Drew books that she can hold into her arms to bring over here. So clearly LJ has read some Nancy Drew books.
Okay, so just I can't these are I have a lot of the early ones. These are not the lowest one here is 10, but I have like one I think I have 1 through 10. I don't know where the other ones are, but people, children of the 90s, perhaps you remember going to Sam's Club and they had these. And so one year for Christmas, my mom got me all of these from Sam's Club. And so I don't know that I've read all of them, but I know I've read a lot of them. And oh, I might have this one has a house on the front. We know I love big house stories. So maybe I'm gonna need to read that one. I don't know.
And I honestly didn't know when they were set. And part of me is still like, when were they set? Because she has a little roadster
Yeah.
car, but some of it felt like it was set in like the 1930s. And maybe
Hmm.
it was. But some of it, I thought it always took place in the 50s and 60s. But I
I think
could
it
be wrong.
let me see, like, when number 18 right here or number 10, when it was originally published, because it should say in here, right? Like, when it was published,
Hmm.
I would think. Okay, it's not there. Let me see here. 1933 was the original
Okay, so it
published
was
date.
in the 30s.
Mhm.
And
So, yeah,
maybe
you're not
that's why
crazy.
it felt a little bit, clearly it was dated, but it felt really dated. I felt like if something was in the 50s and 60s, it would feel more like, I
Yeah.
still think of the 50s and 60s as 30 years ago, whereas it's not. It's
Okay, so this is
a long
interesting.
time ago.
Number 48, The Crooked Banister, was
Mhm.
originally published in 1971. So this is
Oh,
interesting.
okay.
I would be interested to read like, oh, let me see. I have 50 here. It's at the bottom of the stack. Let me see when 50 was, because it'd be kind of interesting to compare like an early one. Yeah, this one's 1973. It'd be kind of interesting to
Mhm.
read an early one versus a later one. And I don't know if by then someone else was writing under her name, because we know that
It
they're
could be, yeah.
'cause
Multiple.
I have some from, like, the '90s, and they take
Mhm.
place in the '90s, and there are some crossover ones of Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew
Yes.
in the '90s, and they're very modern, so I don't know.
And I
But anyway,
think
sorry,
that I've read, I think, a crossover between Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys decades ago. That's, like, the one that I remember. I think they were in Memphis, and we were on vacation in Memphis, and that's why it stuck to my mind. I could be totally wrong. It could have been another book, but I thought that was it. But I do have the first one on hold at the Libby, so I am going to read it just to see. But now I'm wondering if it's like Agatha Christie, where I'm not a fan of the older ones, but I
or
do like the newer ones of hers. So, I mean, newer is relative
right.
for Agatha Christie, but
Later books, later books.
yes, her later books. So maybe I should try some that were later books. And they were written in the same style, if I recall, but they did have a different author. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And the
Alright.
other book that I read that kind of goes into this historical fiction realm is The Botanist's Guide to Tradition and Treachery by Kate Kavari. And this was someone that we met at the McKinney Literary Festival.
Mm,
She wasn't giving a talk, but she had a table there. And she was
mhm,
talking about this book. And I was like, I have seen this as an arc. I
mhm,
should get the arc. So I read the arc. I'm pretty sure it is out now. This is a Saffron Everly mystery. And this was number
okay.
5. I bought number 1 while we were there. I
Okay, I
feel
remember
like
that.
I may have read it, but I'm not positive. So I was like, I'll buy it and then I'll read it and see. It was fun. It is a lady who, Saffron Everly, she's a botanist back in, gosh, early 1900s. And
Okay.
she is trying to break into the field of archaeology and science as a woman in a very male dominated world back when women were not really expected or allowed to be in the workplace. So this was more, she's a woman of means, and
Mhm,
she's kind of expected to act a certain way. And again, she goes against the grain. And in this book, they are in, I think it was Egypt. This is what happens when you read books and can't remember exactly what happens, but I believe they were in Egypt, and people start dying. There's things that they have dug up from archaeological sites that start going missing, and they're like, what is happening? So there's multiple mysteries going on at the same time. They're trying to figure out who's behind both the artifacts going missing and the people dying. So there's several, like I said, mysteries going on here. She's also being bullied, I guess you would call it, by some of the men that are on the archaeological dig. Her fiance is also there, and he's leading a team. I can't remember what his specialty was, but he's also there, and he has, you know, a manly presence and wants to protect her from these bullies. And she's like, no, I have to defend myself because otherwise they won't respect me. So it was a fun book. I do think that I will read more in this series. I don't know if it was like the best book ever, but it was fun.
mhm.
And sometimes you
Yeah.
need fun in your life. So
Yes.
those were my couple of historical fiction books. What's next
Okay.
for you?
All right, A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas,
Yes.
because I've been re-listening to the ACOTAR series because I reread Throne of Glass. I I listened to Throne of Glass. This one, ACOTAR, I have the graphic audios, so I was listening to those. And then so I finally finished this one. It took me a while because first of all, it's
Mhm.
long, and second of all, I distinctly recall because originally when I read the first 3 ACOTAR books or the first 4, it was the week of Snowvid in 2021, And I read a lot of books that week, but I remember I'd zipped through the first two, and then this one, there's so much war in it and battle that I got such fantasy fatigue. And even listening to it, I would have to take a few days off or a week off and come back. And it's still like after that, I did try to jump into, I was like, maybe I'll do the fourth one, the little novella. I lasted like 5 minutes. It was like, no, I need a break from ACOTAR. I love ACOTAR, but I need a break. And also, that one seemed really boring comparatively, which I remember it being boring. So I'm like, I actually don't need. I know the main thing that I want to remember from that, I remember. So it doesn't matter. And so, but again, I'm not ready to hop into Silver Flames because it's really long and I don't know. I've only read that one once, so it will be good to revisit it. And I do think it's very necessary for me to revisit it and then and maybe I could do Crescent City, the first 2 books first, and then do that, and then do the 3rd Crescent City. I don't know. But I got time.
Because
I have till October
those
27th, guys.
those two series do have totally different feels. So I liked the other Sarah J. Maas, and you like ACOTAR. You like all of them, but
I
you
do like
enjoy
all of them.
ACOTAR. And like you said, you're gearing up for the next in the series
Mhm,
that comes out in
mhm.
October. So I
Yes.
wish you luck reading and
Thank
listening to
you.
all of those.
Yeah, I plan to stick to the audiobooks. I think I'm very much right now in the if I'm rereading something, I kind of want it read to me. I don't know. Like
Mhm.
that's where I'm at right now in my life and I'm fine with that.
Hey, I love audiobooks, so I'm
Mhm.
down with that too. And you said that
Yes.
you read 5 books, but ACOTAR books are not short books. They are
I
long
know.
books. So give yourself props for that.
Well, and so
Definitely.
this is what's interesting on Storygraph. It separates the 3 graphic audios into 3 separate things because you do have to purchase them separately, I guess. But I'm like, I'm not counting that as 3 books. Like, I'm counting
No,
it as
yeah.
1. So I only put that I did the first one because I was like, I don't want it to count in my count. Even though it's long and long enough
Yes.
to be 3 books, it's only 1.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
So you have one more book to talk about, right?
I have 2 more.
2? Okay.
Yes.
So I will talk about one that I just finished yesterday. It was an
Okay.
arc. I believe it came out this week, though. It's The
Okay.
Emily's by Heather Abel.
Hmm.
And this one, I have mixed feelings on. I think I gave it 3 stars, but I don't know. I really, it's one of those that if it would have had a faster pace, I might have liked it more. But it was a very slow paced book, and it kind of felt like it dragged on when it didn't necessarily need to. And the whole premise
Mm.
of the book, which I did find the premise really interesting, is there's a disease called Emily's, which I can't remember how the name came about, but it makes you sick every time you go into the sun, like
Oh.
violently ill. So the people that get it have to wear hats and big goggly sunglasses and um, long clothes if they're going to go anywhere. But in their houses, they have blackout curtains and they basically live in the dark. So this talks about one girl in particular who is a tween who has this going on. And her mom takes her back to the town that she lived in when she was growing up. And the mom kind of has her parents were hippies. Her mom was anyway. She doesn't really talk about her dad, but her mom was a hippie that went from place to place to place. So she had a very unique upbringing and
Mm.
kind of does that with her daughter as well. But comes back to the place where she had grown up for a short amount of time. Then she had a really good friend. And this is told through the really good friend's point of view. And it's also told through a couple of different people. So it's kind of interesting. They have short little chapters for the other people, but the main character is the lady's friend. And she's trying to help her friend be able to take care of her daughter, to find a cure. But then she also is a little judgmental about what her friend thinks the cure is going to be. Like she goes to this healing hut place. Like there's some weird things. And they're
Mhm.
like, "Oh, this broth is gonna make your daughter better." And it's not. But, you know, I guess part of it is it was interesting in that it talked about how sometimes the medical establishment dismisses what's going on because it's not something they have experience with. And so the mom gets dismissed, the daughter keeps getting sicker, has to take her out of school, and then she's worried about getting caught by the authority. Like there's a lot going on in this book, and a group of people start meeting at the library who have loved ones with this disease, and they're trying to find a cure. And they're trying to find more people like them and then also find a cure. So again, it was very slow moving. I don't know if I would recommend it, but it was an interesting book, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings, like I said.
Mhm.
Another one that I read was The Anatomy of an Alibi by Ashley Easton, and you've read this one, haven't you?
Or I have it. I don't think I've read it. I think I have it. I think let me look. Please hold. Let me go to Goodreads. I've had it for months. I think Emily read it,
Okay.
and I think I have it sitting in my room. Nope, I have not read it, but I need to.
Okay.
So I want to hear your thoughts on it.
It was a good book. Like I said, I've read some really good books and then some bummers. I think I gave this one 4 stars because there was a twist that I did not see coming. And
Okay.
you kind of get the reveals that are past and then they're revealed and you're like, "Oh, that's what happened." So, there is a wife who suspects her husband of cheating or maybe something worse. Maybe,
Mhm.
worse than cheating. Maybe he's doing illegal activities, and they had dated, I believe, from college on. Turns out there's all kinds of secrets that her husband's family has been hiding, and it reminded me of that family that was in South Carolina. I think it was South Carolina, where they were lawyers and they kind of covered up things, and the family had a lot of power. There was like the boating accident.
Is this the Murdochs or
Yes, the
whatever?
Murdochs.
Yeah.
So it reminded me of that a little bit. And her father in law is very prominent in the community. I can't remember what, I feel like he had like a political role though. So he's very
Okay.
prominent and he kind of controls the police a little bit, has everyone in his pocket. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was good hearing about all of the twists and turns as they come out and as
Yeah.
you learn about everything. Um, and part of it, whenever she's planning to catch her husband in whatever this deceitful thing is, he
Yeah.
tracks her every move. Like he has her on
Creepy.
Life 360 or whatever. And so he goes out of town a lot. And that's why the wife suspects maybe he's cheating on her. And so she devises a plan where she's going to go to a hotel and stay for the
Mhm.
weekend. But really, she's giving her phone to another lady, and the other lady's wearing a wig so that like, if someone's following her, they'll see someone that looks like
Interesting.
the main character. So there's all this deceit going on with the wife and the husband and then the in-laws. So it
Mhm.
did have some good mystery to it. And at the end, I was like, oh, okay. And then it opens up other thriller aspects at the end. So it was good. I
Very
would
cool.
say read it if you are a thriller type of
Person.
person. Yeah.
And if you own it, because I have it from Book of the Month, that was one of the ones. Remember, I had all those credits because I thought I had canceled it.
Yes.
It's one of the ones I got with those credits. So I definitely need to. All right, is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Okay, I've got another thriller, you guys. That's right. I read the arc of Riley Sager's new book, The Unknown, which, if you don't know what it is, it's a gothic supernatural
Tinged.
tinged. Thank you. Hey, by the way, there is a mercantile on the square. I saw it and I was like, and I was with NSYNC and I was gonna say something. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to explain the whole story and it's just not gonna land. So anyway, but I was ready to tell that anyway. But yeah, so tinged. supernatural tinge thriller by bestselling author Riley Sager. It follows struggling actress Maren Keene on an isolated, legend-plagued Vermont island where 5 women mysteriously vanished in 1926. A century later, during a film shoot, similar disappearances began again, forcing Maren to unravel the island's dark history. So I gave it 4 stars. I was on the fence. I would say it's a middle, like, I mean, I feel like Riley Sager has had a couple of just, like, knock it out of the park. I think his
Mhm.
absolute best, hands down, is The Only One Left. I think that is his greatest contribution to the literary world. I forgot what the one last year that was the train one. I thought that one was really good as well.
And I didn't
Eh,
read that one. I remember
it was
having
good.
it on my Libby holds, and I think it expired. So
Yeah, so that one, I cannot believe I can't train book Riley Sager. Let's see here.
I remember you saying
With
that
a
one was
Vengeance.
like kind of like Oriental Express.
Yeah, Murder on the Orient Express, yes, it was.
Yes,
So
that
that
one.
was with a Vengeance. Now, right now, I couldn't tell you anything else about it because I don't remember, but it was good. This one, I would say I was very intrigued. I could not put it down once I started it, so that's good. I feel like some of the twists played out and some of them didn't. And, I gave it 4 stars because I think it's a standard Riley Sager. I think I
Mhm.
wouldn't s most of his, I feel like, are 3 to 4, and I didn't quite feel like it was a lot. Like, Final Girls, I think, is a solid 3. Survive the Night is a solid 3. I felt like this was a 4, and I think I've only given 5 stars to 2 or 3 of his books total. But this is number 10. Everyone should, if you like Riley Sager, you will enjoy this. I think he does a really good job of sucking you into a good story and keeping you there. And it was fun trying to figure things out because, like it said, it's supernatural tinged. I
Tinged.
don't know what I know this word. Just add it to the list of words I can't handle. Um, but anyway, which that makes me nervous. I don't love that, and I'm still very upset at Home Before Dark. And anyway, we will move on from that. It's the only I gave that one 2 stars, you guys. I can recognize why it's good, but there are a lot of problems with that book, and maybe
Home
someday
Before
we'll do
Dark,
it.
I did not like
Yeah, I
either.
have.
And I
There's some
have the
things.
arc for this Riley Sager book. So
Yes.
I think it comes out in August.
It does.
So
It was on my list of upcoming to share. It
okay.
comes out August 4th, so it's very soon. So you
Yes.
guys don't have to wait too long. And it's actually, I feel like later. I feel like usually he has a book come out in um June. So it's a little bit
Okay.
later if I'm remembering correctly. But either way, it's coming. If you like Riley Sager, check it out. All right,
All
back to
right.
you. I have one more after this, so I don't know how many
Okay.
more you have.
This is my last one. It's The
Perfect.
Burning Side by Sarah Damoff.
Oh,
And this book was amazing. This was definitely one of my top books for the year, I will say. And when we were talking about books, like favorite books for the month, I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, which one is it? My favorite book? Was it The Burning Side or The Great Outdoors? And I think they were really close, but I think The Burning Side by Sarah Damoff was my favorite book this month. And that is just because if you read her other book, which was The Bright Years, that was a great book, but this book is just like 10 times better than that book, which I didn't know it could be 10 times better.
okay.
It deals with a family in the midst of a crisis. There's several, it's like a multi-generational novel. So I guess the main character, but there's several main characters where the story is being told through a daughter who is an adult and has children of her own, and then also her mother. So those are the two people that really give the story. And the daughter just got told that her husband wants a divorce, and that night their house catches on fire and burns down, and they don't know what to do, so they go and stay with her parents. And her parents have a secret that they're trying to keep that they're not ready to share yet. And the daughter and the son-in-law really look up to the mom and the dad as having like the perfect marriage, the perfect family, and they are struggling, obviously, if the husband had just said he wanted a divorce, and the wife kind of feels like a failure, the daughter, and so they're trying to figure out their own relationship while also living with her parents and their children. And it's complicated, and it also deals with family issues that are kind of big issues, but she does it in such a way that it's just really good. I don't want to give anything away, but you're dealing with family secrets, revelations, I guess, and then how all the children come together to deal with these different things, because her siblings, the daughter siblings, the wife,
Yeah.
the mother, her siblings come and stay with them at some of the points too. So at one point, all 3 grown children are at the house staying there. And so it's really interesting to see the family dynamics of what were they like as children and then coming up as adults. And there's a lot of books. And then I think reality is that whenever you are an adult, but you're back in your parents' house, you kind of take on whatever role you served as a child, whether that was the rescuer, the joker, the however you want to put that. And Sarah Damoff, she was a social worker. That's her background. Now she's a full-time writer, but she brings a lot of her experience from that job into her writing. So again, I would highly recommend that. I know you have the ARC and the book. It was kind of funny because I purchased the book in advance to get her to sign it from Neighbor Books. And then one of the things we're going to talk about for our literary events was that we got to go see her. And I guess it was a Christmas gift to me to go see her. And my husband had also ordered the book. So I have 2 copies of the book, both of them signed.
Yep.
But I am happy to support her. So I'm glad
Me
that
too.
I have both of them signed.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. My last book for the month is, hang on, I gotta sneeze. Well, you're gonna have to edit that out anyway. I want to throw out an idea. Do you want to do our because after this we gotta do our literary events and we're already at like 46 minutes. Do you want to separate the
Yes.
quarter end into its own episode?
Let's do it.
So my last book of this month is Finding the Lost Girls: The Hunt to Solve a Serial Killer's Cold Cases by Paul Holes and Peter McDonnell. Now, this is a true crime one. You know, it's been a while since I did a true crime one. Of course, it is the audiobook because we know I love to listen to true crime audiobooks. And I recently got a deal to get back on Audible, like a 3 months for like $6.99 each month, which is not the best deal, but you know what? I'll take it. And because of that, I was like, oh, I should look and see what things are included. And this was one of the ones that I found. And it was a serial killer that I had never heard of. And right now I'm like, I'm not even prepared with the dude's name. So please hold. Right. So the information: for decades, a father in the Bay Area made his living taking people's portraits, but he harbored a monstrous secret. When one woman vanished in 1976, the only clue the police had was that she'd gone to a restaurant to meet a photographer about a modeling job. Other women who'd gone to get their pictures taken were found murdered in the woods in Marin County. This disconnected series of homicides and disappearances remained stubbornly unsolved. But then in 2010, a probation officer caught a lucky break. During a routine visit to the man's home, the officer discovered a list of clues to what appeared to be 10 murders. The photographer, Joe Naso, who was in his 70s and on probation for petty theft, argued that the list was meaningless. The disturbing pictures in his home said otherwise. A statewide investigation exposed that Joe Naso had led a shocking and secret life of okay, I don't know how to say that word. And
Premeditated?
violence. Predation?
Predation, like predatory.
Predation. I know, but it looks weird. It feels like it's missing a syllable. All right, predation and violence. A judge sentenced Naso to death for 6 of the murders on his list and sent him to San Quentin. But the other cases on Naso's list went cold, perhaps permanently. Then a few years ago, celebrated detective Paul Holes reopened them. Paul had been part of the original investigation team, and that work felt unfinished. At San Quentin, Naso was nearing 90 and his health was declining. If they were going to solve the other cases on his list, it was now or never. The only problem was Paul had been retired for 6 years. Could he still work the same magic? This is the gripping tale of Hull's real-time investigation into 4 cold case homicides, pitting one of America's best detectives against one of its most prolific and deranged serial killers. So it was interesting. I had never heard of this guy, and some part of why he got away with so much is for so long is because people, like some of the victims' families, like moms and dads, died thinking that it was Rodney Alcala, who was the
Ah,
dating game killer, who also lured victims with like modeling photography jobs. So he was attributed some of these murders that it turns out weren't necessarily him. So it was a quick one. It's short. It's an Audible original. So if you have Audible Premium, check it out. I thought it was good. It wasn't the best, which is why I got 3 stars, but I still enjoyed it. It was entertaining. And that
yeah.
sounds wrong to say about true crime. It was educational as well because like I said, I'd never heard of this guy and
Mhm.
you know, it's and these victims, like some of them I was like, wait, that name sounds familiar because they were attributed to Rodney Alcala, right? That's his name, Rodney Alcala. I
You're
think
asking the
so.
wrong person.
I know, I'm pretty sure that's his name, Rodney Al. Yes, that's his name. I can't believe I doubted myself. I mean, come on, it's me. But anyway, so that's the last one I finished. But what are you currently reading, Lena?
So I am reading 3 books. One is a physical book, one is a Kindle book, and one is an audio. I'm reading Maurice by E.M. Foster or Forster. Forster? Foster? I can't remember. And this is for my Neighbor Books book club. This author wrote Howard's End and A Room with a View. This book, Maurice, is about 2 gay men in 1913. And this was back before gay men were accepted in society at all, where it was a crime. So they meet in college, and it's their relationship over the years. Um, the author actually, he wrote this in 1913, 1914, but didn't release it until after he died because he thought it would be so controversial back then that he would be blacklisted. So
Mhm.
I think we're reading it for Pride Month. I do have to read it by tomorrow, and I am only about halfway through. So I have a lot of reading to do today and tomorrow before book club. But I'm taking my daughter to the pool tomorrow, so I fully plan to read it there. Helpless, I just started. It is a book by Jessica Knoll. She's written The Luckiest Girl Alive.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it was a pretty popular book. This is an arc. The Helpless is an arc, and I've only gotten a few pages into it, so I don't really
Okay.
know too much about it. The last book I'm reading is The Forest Becomes Her by Julie Carrick Dalton, and this is also an arc. It's kind of interesting in that a development has come in, they've clear cut a forest, and now the forest is reclaiming things. And I'm just at the point where the forest is starting to reclaim. It has a little bit of that magical realism, supernatural feel to it, which you all know that I
Mhm.
love. So I'm very curious to see where this one goes and what I end up rating it because I am about 30% in. I'm not very far, but it does cover 3 women, one of who is a teenager who's trying to replant the forest, and then one who's in their 60s, who is one of the real estate developers, and then one who has moved into the house and just recently lost a baby and is really into gardening. So it's really interesting to hear all their different perspectives. So it's a fun read so far. What are you
Very
currently
cool.
reading?
So I am reading The Burning Side. So I've read a little bit of it. I'm about 10% in, so not very far, but I was also trying to finish a couple more books for this month. And then I am reading The Huntress by Kate Quinn, which I had started over a month ago and I picked back up. I'm now over halfway. Was looking while we were sitting here. I was like, I should see if I can get the audiobook because it's one that I feel like I would enjoy. And it shows up on the thing on for a cloud library, but then it says not available. So I don't
Well,
know.
I know that it's on Libby because I
Oh,
have it
I
on
got
my
locked out
my
of
list there.
there.
Oh.
I got locked out of there. I need to go to the Plano library to get put back in. Dang it.
Yeah.
Oh well. It's fine. I will. It's at some point. But anyway, they're both really good so far. So I'm
Yeah.
excited. But yeah, that's all I've got so far. So now we got to talk about our literary events.
Yes. And we'll do this
Okay.
quickly because I know we are coming up on an
Yeah.
hour
I
and we
just looked
try
at my
to,
wrist and there's no
like there
watch
was a
there.
watch there.
It's
We
not there.
also I think we're going to move the books coming out to another episode. Maybe that'll be next week's episode so that we can talk about that.
Yes.
Because we do want to talk
Definitely.
about those, but we're going to have like an hour and a half episode if we do that. So
Yeah.
let's talk about literary events. You and I went to these together, so it's kind of fun.
We did. It is really fun. So
Why don't
we
you talk
first
about
went.
one? I'll talk about one.
Okay. I'll talk about Sarah Damoff and then I'll have
Okay.
you do the other one because I feel like it's one of your I mean, not that Sarah Damoff is not one of your favorite authors because clearly she is, but you've read a lot of Ashley Poston's books, so I want to make sure that
Yes.
you get to talk about that. All right, so we went to see Sarah Damoff at the Arts and Letters at the Dallas Museum of Art. And of course, as we did when we've gone before, we had to go to Mikasina and have a
Yes.
couple of drinks, eat some delicious food, and then walk over there, which, was not far. And it was so good. What was so fun about this is that we have been to an event. We went to an event for her a year ago, approximately,
Uh-huh.
in McKinney, which did have a large group, but this was like a sold out event, I think. And
Yes.
it was so cool to see just how many more people are impacted by her books. And now I haven't read The Burning Side yet, but this was about The Burning Side. That was kind of the reason for this event. And I just I just I just love Sarah Damoff. She's so real, she's so genuine. She has this gift of writing, and you had people in the audience there that when they got to do the Q&A, everyone was saying some sort of connection to how she wrote. And she
Uh-huh.
does hear from a lot of people that despite the fact that she might not have experienced the things, that she writes them very well. And I can attest to that. If you want to, I don't know what episode it was. It was a while ago that we did with her, which she was so generous to be on our podcast last year. She, my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Why was I going to say that? Oh, the first book talked about addiction. And I can say, as with a parent that deals with addiction and that's kind of in and out of the life, and as someone who has personally experienced that, I can say that she wrote it so well that I felt very understood in
Hmm.
that. And I think that's really hard to do if you haven't experienced that. So I would say definitely if you have not read The Bright Years, and well, both of them, you got to read them both, but The Bright Years specifically deals with addiction, multi-generational impact of that.
Uh-huh.
And then The Burning Side, Lena already talked about. But yeah, I just love her. She just seems so genuine and sweet and kind and caring and humble, just so
Yes.
humble and delightful. She is just a delightful human being and she's so eloquent. I love listening to her speak. I don't know. You guys, if you get a chance to see her, you should totally take it. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Do you have anything
She
to add
is
to that?
just that I agree with you about everything that you said. And there were people in the audience when they were asking questions that were literally crying because her books mean so much to them and they
Mhm.
feel the feelings of these books. So she's just she's a very gifted author about
Mhm.
making those connections, kind of like what you said. She
Mhm.
brings people together and yeah,
Yes,
just she's really fun. Um,
she is.
and I will talk about the other event we went to, which was Kayla Olson, who wrote The Great Outdoors, and Ashley Poston, who, gosh, what is her new book? Oh,
Oh, it's in the other room.
The Not Secret Garden.
Not So Secret Garden? I don't know.
No.
I'm looking Ashley
Oh,
Poston
The
Garden
Someday
book.
Garden.
The Someday Garden.
So
Okay.
uh, Ashley Poston's new book, The Someday Garden, which I have not started yet, but I really want to.
I haven't either.
And
I know, me
Ashley
too.
Poston was the reason that I wanted to go to this. And going to see her at the Half Price Book Dallas flagship store was $20 and it included the book, which I was like,
Right?
that's like the price of the book is $20. So I was very excited for that. And she is just so funny. And we had never read, either of us, a Kayla Olson book. And she was there as like a co-author. And it was so crazy because we had seen her at the McKinney literary event and then read her book, loved it, had her on the podcast. And it was so fun to hear both of them because they played off of each other so well.
Yes,
like,
they were
both
so
funny.
Cute.
Yes, I very much enjoyed this event. The person who moderated it was also really fun. She was an author, but I don't remember her name.
I don't either. I bet we can find it.
I'm sure.
At some point.
But I don't remember her name, but she was very good at moderating and funny as well. Ashley Poston is probably one of my favorite authors. I would say it's supernatural romance. She's written The Dead Romantic. I've talked about her so many times on this podcast. So just go read her books.
Yes. And I've read The Dead Romantics and I loved it.
They are, again, supernatural romances, but her characters are so well done. She did say that she's taking a break from writing supernatural romances and going into something else, which I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm sure it'll be great. It'll be good. Both Kayla Olson and Ashley Poston started out writing, what do you call it? Not middle grade, but
YA.
They started out writing YA. And I have been trying to get my hands on Ashley Poston's YA books, but I haven't yet. Same with Kayla Olson's, because both of them have books that sound really interesting. But I'm very curious where Ashley Poston is going to go with her next book. She did say that she is writing or about to publish a Star Wars book because she's a big fan of Star Wars. So she was asked to write a book for them. And I thought that sounded interesting too.
Right.
So who knows? I got to go read all the things.
I probably won't read that. I'm just going to be honest. So. But that's fine.
Not your genre, but that's okay.
No.
I might. I don't know. I have so many books to read. It's a problem.
I know.
It's a problem.
No, it was such a fun event. They were cute. I enjoyed the people we were sitting by. We were kind of admiring each other's tattoos. Like, that sounds so funny because, I mean, it's not like Leyna and I have a whole bunch on display, but like we were admiring others and like, oh, what have you got? So, of course we had to show our... I still cannot figure out
how awkward to show, but our book tattoo.
You can't. It's like, how do I show it? Where is it?
So we have a fine line tattoo that our whole book club got. That is a book with a blue bonnet coming out of it. And the gal sitting next to us actually got one of her tattoos at the same place by the same lady. So we were like, that's awesome. So a little bit of connection. Yes.
Yeah, shout out Pink House Tattoos.
So if you're in Dallas area and you want a fine line tattoo, that's where you should go. But that kind of sums up our literary events. We have some coming up. Like I said, McKinney, our public library, is holding some events. So again, our bonus episode is going to come out on our Patreon. And we also have a reading guide coming out on Yesteryear. So
which I need to do my part of that. I forgot about it. Oopsies. The delay is my fault, you guys. The delay is never Leyna's fault. It's always LJ's fault. Just know that. I'm going to own that. I will. Yes, I'm going to work on it today, you guys. Maybe I'll finish my contribution today. Sorry.
It's all good. We're going to get there. It will be coming out. It will be coming out.
Soon. Very soon.
Soon. So go ahead if you want to. The reading guide is our $5 a month level. The podcast episode, the bonus episode, is for both the $3 a month and the $5 a month. And our free newsletter that went out also included a reading bracket for 2026. So our June newsletter, which you can get for free if you're a free Patreon member, so you don't have to pay anything. Our newsletter for June included those reading brackets so that you can help see what book is your favorite for the year of 2026. So that's something you can go get. Otherwise, friends, we will see you next week.
All right. Our revels have now ended. I remember.
Why do I keep forgetting that? Our revels have now ended.
I don't know. Why was flipped? Are now ended. Yep. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to More Than a Book Club podcast. We are recorded and produced in McKinney, Texas.
Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast and follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.